TJ O'Connor here with a new episode of Trash Talk, brought to you as always by our sponsors, Ink Shrink Tattoo, On Deck Management, and of course Valhalla Combat Sports. Coming together today to talk about a fun UFC card this weekend, Saturday, March 9th in Wichita, Kansas, which happens to feature 3 local Minnesota talents. Should be a first Minnesotan on the card. We got one of the best to ever do it for Minnesota, Dan, the Hitman Moret. He's taking on Alex, the Spartan White, at 145 pounds. Moret's looking for his first UFC win after taking a tough UFC debut against Gilbert Burns on short notice. And he's looking to fight White, who came out with a big splash to start his career, but has lost 3 out of his last 4, and he needs a big one himself. So I think this is going to be a good scrap. Moret has a full camp under his books now, training with a tough team, room full of killers down at the lab in Arizona. And White's going to come to fight, but I think with a full camp, Dan Moret's really in his groove. Dan Moret's in his prime right now. I see Dan getting a second-round submission and picking up that first UFC win. Another fun scrap featuring Minnesotans, actually a rematch of the LFA heavyweight title fight that took place in Minneapolis just last April 2018, as Minnesotan Maurice, the crochet boss, Greene, takes on Jeff Lights Out Hughes. Hughes got the decision in the first one. He was able to bring home the belt, but Greene's really been on a tear. He's been putting work in. Obviously, he was a factor on the last season of The Ultimate Fighter, made it to my finals with a couple big wins, and then he picked up that elusive first UFC win in his debut against Michel Bautista by first-round stoppage. So, he's been on a tear. Hughes has been doing his work himself. Picked up a big win himself, first-round knockout on Dana White Tuesday Night Fights. Didn't get the contract that night, but clearly they're bringing him in. They think there's an opportunity for him. I think this is a fun scrap. I think Hughes is a gritty. He's a winner. He's a guy who's 10-1. He always finds a way to win. Obviously, former LFA heavyweight champion. But I think Greene has something to prove with this one. I think he wants this fight back. I think the first time he felt that the judges didn't bring it his way in a close fight, and I see Maurice Greene coming out with something to prove, getting a first-round stoppage. I mean, he has a high-level kickboxing background, 6'7", lanky, utilizes good knees, good elbows from a distance, and with the height disparity, and after going 25 minutes with Hughes, I think he has the distance down. I think he has everything down he needs. And with Brock Larson leading the camp up and start BJJ in St. Cloud, obviously a multiple-time UFC veteran himself, veteran of the game, I think they're able to put together a game plan that's going to bring home that win and ultimately get Maurice his second UFC win. In the last of our local Minnesotan fighters, we got Anthony Rocco Martin taking on Sergio Moret at 170 pounds in a fight that I think could easily be fight of the night. You have 2 high-level grapplers, 2 high-level competitors. Moret being a multiple-time BJJ world champion. Everybody in Minnesota knows Rocco Martin's credentials. He's been competing at a high level himself since 2012. Been in the UFC for quite a while. Had a stint at 155 that was up and down. Moved up to 170, and he's looked unstoppable since. He's destroyed guys like Ryan Flair, Jake Matthews. He's 3-0 since making the move to 170. But Moret himself is a guy that has beaten everybody he's fought in the UFC, short of current world champion Kamaru Usman. This is a guy who shows up every time it's ready to fight, and that's why I think this has fight of the night written all over it. Moret is as high level as it gets, but I think Rocco Martin, with his training down in ATT, Florida with Mike Brown, and of course head coach Brock Larson up in St. Cloud, Minnesota, I think they're able to put together a game plan. I think they're able to put together a strategy, and I see Rocco Martin winning a decision here and moving his name up into the top 15, top 10 of the UFC. Now, I wanted to keep this mainly about the local fighters here, but with a main event like the one we got this Saturday, had to chime in on it. You got Junior Dos Santos taking on Derek Lewis. This is a fun fight. This is the definition of a barn burner. You got Derek Lewis with 18 wins by knockout, Junior Dos Santos with 14 wins by knockout. These guys like to punch each other in the face. Derek Lewis is by far the better athlete at this point in his career. He's stronger. He's probably faster. But Junior Dos Santos probably has some of the best boxing in MMA. We're not talking about weight classes. We're just going to say in MMA in general. So this fight, I mean, needless to say, don't expect many takedowns. This fight is going to be a barn burner. Someone's getting knocked out. Someone's getting hit. My heart wants to go Derek Lewis. I'm a fan. But my brain's telling me Junior Dos Santos uses his jab, uses his range, picks his shots. And needless to say, I don't think this fight goes 5 rounds. This is a fighter's fight. This is a scrap. And I don't think either of these guys are looking to get paid to work for 25 minutes. Luckily, the fans, we get to sit back and enjoy it. From top to bottom, it's a fun card. Tune in right away. Dan Moret, the first fight of the night. Junior Dos Santos, Derek Lewis, the main event. It's going to be a great card, great night of fight. Tune in on ESPN Plus. It's a free service here. You get a free trial. Otherwise, I think it's $4.95 a month. Well worth the amount of fights you're going to get, especially this Saturday with the local talent. And, I mean, with the UFC announcing their return to Target Center this June, what a better statement, what a better stage for these 3 Minnesotans to show their talents and explain why they need to be on that card. Why they get to hear Bruce Buffer say their name in front of their hometown friends and family, and why we're all going to buy tickets to support them. So start supporting this Saturday. Tune in. Watch the card. Again, this has been an episode of Trash Talk. I'm TJ O'Connor. Have a great night.